Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Bills Roundtable. Very excited to unpack this Week 5 matchup against the New England Patriots. They present their share of challenges. I think the Buffalo Bills certainly need to be on their P's and Q's, but we are going to be unpacking this matchup ad nauseum, identifying key matchups that the Buffalo Bills can take advantage of, and of course, your full preview and prediction. Jake, what's going on, man? Heading down to Buffalo for the third weekend straight. What's up?
I'll be back there in Orchard Park for another home matchup against the New England Patriots. Sunday Night Football. It's a highly anticipated matchup. There's a lot of storylines in this game, and I think the one that may have been overlooked for a few weeks, but now that it's at the forefront, the one that's on everyone's mind is Stephon Diggs going up against the Buffalo Bills, but his first time back in Orchard Park, and maybe I think it's a high likelihood this is his last time at the current Highmark Stadium, unless, of course, we see the Bills and Patriots go head-to-head in the playoffs. So there's a lot of anticipation for this matchup. I can't wait to break it down. And today, I wore a white shirt because the Buffalo Bills, they'll be debuting those Nike Rivalries uniforms on Sunday night. There's going to be a little whiteout going on, and I don't know. I love the vibe of it, but I'm someone who's a little superstitious, so I'm not sure if I can I'm not sure if I can change my jersey for it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So you've been wearing that Bills bunker jersey for every single game?
Yeah.
And we're undefeated in it? Or have we lost in it a couple of times?
Undefeated this season.
Okay, we're undefeated with the Bills bunker. Have you bought the new jersey yet?
I haven't.
Okay. I got mine. I'm also at a crossroads of whether or not that I plan on wearing it on Sunday. I'm really superstitious when it comes into what I wear. Kev, I'm not sure about you, if you have a game day ritual filled with superstitions, or if you're just oh, whatever, it's football. Nothing I do is going to impact how the Bills play. I mean, what's your ritual look like?
I'm the latter, so you got me. You go shocker for a guy that looks at the numbers and analytics. I'm the latter. I do not think anything I do affects the game. My wife is super superstitious, though, so she makes me follow some things along those lines a lot.
Okay,
where she's sitting on the couch or whatever. Those things I do participate in for her benefit, but as a numbers guy, unfortunately, I don't think anything I do will affect what happens when Josh Allen gets the ball in his hands.
Yeah. So I'm not too crazy about it. One thing I will do is that, say that I'm wearing something and the Buffalo Bills lose, then I typically retire that garment. It's never on me during a watch ever again. Right before I had my own office and everything, I would go to this one bar and I would have to sit at the exact same seat at the bar each and every single time. Very oftentimes I'd go up to somebody and I'd offer to pay for their tab for them to move out of my seat if, for example, they were sitting in it. But yeah. Hey, Jake, you know what, man? Go treat yourself. Walk into the Bills store and grab yourself a nice Nike Rivalries jersey, because they are clean, dude. Mm-hmm. They are very clean.
I like it.
But you could find yourself on 2 primetime advertising opportunities this season, because you would be sticking out like a sore thumb in the whiteout as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You could be with that blue jersey. They'll be like, look at that guy who clearly didn't follow directions. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, dude. Beautiful thing. But the New England Patriots are coming into town. Kev, first off, how you doing today, man?
Oh, enjoying it. I'm here. I'm enjoying all the talks of the heightened talks of the Patriots, like it's Mac Jones all over again. The Josh Allen comparisons, they're gonna test their shtick and how good they are and how much progress they've made. Hopefully, a lot, since they've lost two of the first 3 games they played. Honestly, they played a even Stevens to me with the Miami Dolphins, and turnovers galore against the Steelers. Lost to the Raiders. I mean, May has some good numbers, but that's about where it ends for me.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Colby on. He's been unpacking it. He's obviously pretty confident about this team. And some of their numbers are interesting, right? One of the key matchups, I think, is obviously going to be against our rushing attack versus their run defense. I think that their linebackers certainly present some challenges in the run, at least. I actually think that coverage is a massive issue for the linebackers. I can imagine that could be a big day for maybe Dalton Kincaid, maybe Khalil Shakir. But Kev, you're obviously a numbers guy, and like we're looking at things from the New England Patriots where we're seeing things like they're top 5 in all rushing metrics that matter. They're pretty low in the secondary side of things, but I'm willing to bump them up marginally if, say, for example, that Gonzo is back. Not up to top 5 by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you should probably see a slight improvement with that. What should we expect from this team? Right?
Couple things to remember about the Patriots too. Right now, they've been really healthy, in my opinion. Like, I'm not breaking down their WAR and getting into their every single defensive player EPA. But right now, they've statistically been pretty healthy. I don't really have any key injuries on their end until today, which is going to be interesting. Something I'll bring up in 1 second. But going into their first 4 weeks, I mean, I'm really looking at, they missed Gonzo for a few weeks, but other than that, they've been a few minor injuries on the O-line. They've been pretty healthy across the board, and they're getting Jelani Tavai back as well. They're one designated for return player who's been practicing already. That's great. That's great to have that benefit and maybe some early successes. Margins are so thin here. But if you look at their defense, which you were asking about, you got a guy by the name of Milton Williams, a guy that disrupted the Super Bowl from the Philadelphia Eagles, now on the Patriots. Didn't show up. He's nowhere to be seen today at practice. I believe he would be hurt. I don't know if they've had their official injury report out. Huge loss right now for them. If he's unable to go, will further destroy their interior pressure for them. And look, Kalavion Chason, a guy that I really like, I like him a lot, is also not playing at the moment. So we'll see what the results is on those two, but those are 2 of their key front 7 players right now, and we'll see how that all fits in. But maybe a few dings that they haven't had familiar with at all right now. So the good thing about everybody eats is Gonzo can only affect so much of the game. That's the good thing about the Bills. You can't take away like our key part of the game, like Jamar Chase, or if they're going up against, they haven't really had any tough opponents. I guess DK Metcalf with the Steelers. I can't really think of any other examples where he could make a difference. Last week he had a pretty easy game. So right now, I don't know how much he can affect this specific matchup for the Bills. That's what makes them so lethal. They cannot be missing front 7 players than they are with 2 players. And they're honestly like not a very good defense, in my opinion, from what I've been able to analyze. The disruption's not there. I mean, they stopped the run okay, but because people are throwing on them. So ultimately, they're kind of reverse the Bills in a way defensively, but there's nothing there that defensively that issues it at all to me. This is not one of their tougher tests from the Bills' offensive side of the ball side. This is not one of their harder assignments that some of the future games may present as a couple of the weeks are coming up here. But I do not put this as a larger offensive challenge for the Bills right now. This should be one where, unfortunately, again, like just like the Saints game, they may need to take control and get into the 30s again and kind of help alleviate any issues on the other side of the ball. So that's kind of where I'm at with this matchup, Dan. I just, are they there enough? Will they be competitive in the wild card race with a couple teams being down and out like the Bengals? Yeah. Are they going to do enough to present for the division? I can't see it right now, but they do have a super easy schedule. People make fun of our schedule. Theirs is even easier. They have an easier schedule. Super easy. So we can get into a little bit more of the metrics in a minute, but first glance, not concerned at all, especially without 2 of their top 5 or 6 defenders.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is I would love for us to get back to weeks 1 through 3 disciplined football, not go out ahead and shoot ourselves in the foot 11 times and lose that penalty battle. Somebody in the chat just said that Hochuli, his crew, is going to be getting the Sunday game. He's definitely one of the worst officiating teams out there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to take control of the game. I doubt it. I mean, we just need the Buffalo Bills to clean up. At the very least, pre-snap penalties would be ideal. What scares you about this game, Jake? Like, what's something that the Patriots do well that you're feeling a bit uneasy about? Talk to us.
Well, we know that James Cook has been cooking early on this season. He's the AFC Offensive Player of the Month. And I think that the New England Patriots, they're going to do everything that they can to slow down James Cook and the rushing attack for the Buffalo Bills. The way that the Bills offense operates is everyone eats. And I think they have the right offensive weapons to really counteract what the strength of the Patriots defense is. So
Mm-hmm.
trying to just spread the ball offensively. Everyone eats through the air game. And I want to see Josh Allen distribute the football in this matchup. But I also want to see the Bills really hold on to the ball. So although what I want them to do most is just run the ball down the Patriots' throat all game long, but that might not work. That might not work the way that it has been to date. That remains to be seen. So they might have to just try to put up those points in this game.
My God, man. Like, one of the trends here is that, at least according to 4 games worth of a sample size, we're looking at a top 10 third down offense. The Buffalo Bills are still where they were last year, or at least around that ballpark.
Yep.
My question to Kev here is that, based off of what you have seen, is there enough sample size to give them credit for being a top 10 third down offense, or is there more to see in this picture? And if so, do the Buffalo Bills have an opportunity of being able to get right in that position?
Look,
I'm not sure about you, but like, one thing that I've been theorizing about is that, surprisingly enough, I would love for some of our DBs to press on the line during some of those like third down situations for us, right? Especially against the Pats, because Drake May has been sacked 13 times already. And I'm not sure why Sean McDermott likes like putting like 8 to 10 yards from the line of scrimmage until the wide receiver between the two. Maybe he's nervous that some of them are getting too handsy, or he's not confident in their speed. But I feel like that could work potentially in third down situations to at least slow down these wide receivers off of their first initial step. Thoughts on the third down defense and their third down offense?
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk about the Bills and their schedule all the time. And the difference is the Bills have proven it doesn't matter. They can go up against the Lions. I mean, you pick the Bills are actually 13-10 against teams above 600 winning percentage. So, like, they have a winning record. They're like one of a few teams, with the Ravens and a couple others, probably the Chiefs, that have a winning record. They've won 3 of those games by over 21 points. They can beat winning records, right? It's not a problem. Occasionally, just like anybody would lose to a good team. That's football. That's why there's really never undefeated teams. But when it comes to the Patriots, like, they need to prove that these numbers exist beside their first 4 opponents. The awful Raiders, who they lost to, the Dolphins, everybody knows what kind of mess that the Dolphins are in. The Panthers are just terrible. So ultimately, like, we need, and then they lost to the Steelers. So, like, there's some good stuff here, especially with May and what he's able to do. He's kind of like a Josh Allen light. A lot of people like to say that. He's got like 70% of the arm strength, 70% of the running ability, whatever. It's like that version. So like they definitely present a few challenges. Dan, they can't run the ball. I don't care what anyone tries to tell you. Kenny tries to gas you up of how good their offense is. Maybe it's like early year Bills teams, 2018, 2019 Bills teams, maybe. But it's going to be very similar, where Drake May is going to go in and, just like the Bills, maybe make a push for the wild card, but still not be able to take down the division when Brady was still there. It's very similar regards of that. Their defensive metrics are terrible, in my opinion. There's some game flow things that help their third down a little bit and help their run defense a little bit. It's because they're 28th DVOA against the pass defensively. So look, like, there are some good things. It's football. It's a division game, even like with the Dolphins and Saints. Even these teams are decent in some ways, and the Patriots will present some challenges, but there's really nothing that shocks me about what they've been able to do. They got to run the ball better. Ramondre Stevenson puts the ball on the ground way too much against a team who loves to punch the ball out in the Bills. There's definitely some concerns, because they're not going to move the ball enough to cause the Bills concerns when they're going to go into a little bit more of that shell coverage. The goal is to confuse Drake May. The goal is to commit turnovers and to get pressure. And right now, like, one thing to remember about their defense, they're 22nd EPA per play defensively, 26th EPA against the pass. It may be time that everybody gets a little bit of that passing offense that they were looking for, but the Bills will prove to you that they can still run the ball in this game, and that some of those defensive running metrics are a little bit overblown. I still think the Bills advantage Bills run game, advantage heavily Bills pass game against their defense. Not worried at all about the third down metrics. They'll convert a few third downs for sure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think there's some fool's gold there.
And so 5 for 15 like last week would be nice.
Sounds about right. Yeah. And give or take a 1 third down. Like the Bills play obviously very good 3 or 4 conversions, and if they play a little bit worse, 6-7 conversions. But they just don't run the ball well enough for the Bills to feel overly threatened with their offense. And they're going to be able to go into a confusing cover 3 quarters coverage style of defense that McDermott is kind of good at, even if it feels like they're 5 or 6 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm. So far as well, they really haven't been able to establish a lot of play action. That probably goes hand in hand with them being unable to run the football. So it's almost like you have the answers to the test offensively right before the snap each and every single time. Jake, the injury report ended up dropping for the Buffalo Bills today. And we see that Ed Oliver and all of the main guys, Matt Milano and Spencer Brown, were listed as limited. But there's rumors going around that Ed Oliver is still in pain. Some people are under the impression that he might not be ready to go by Sunday. Is this the game where you would be okay to rush some players back, or do you think in a complete opposite spectrum, we would be okay without some of these big name players? Would you rush Ed Oliver back in a game like this?
Do I want them back on the field against an AFC East opponent? Absolutely. But am I willing to rush someone back when they're maybe not at full health, maybe not really medically cleared div in play? I'm not going to rush someone and put them in that situation so early in the season when this team has higher aspirations than just an AFC East division title for a 6th straight season. This team has Super Bowl aspirations. And right now, I don't think it's really worth jeopardizing the future for the present moment, despite the magnitude of this game going up against an AFC East opponent who is really the Patriots are going to give this their best shot. They're shooting for the stars this season. They're going to try to come for that AFC East title. But until further notice, you know who the beast in the AFC East. That's the Buffalo Bills. So right now, I'm not rushing anyone back from injury. Do you want them back out there? Absolutely. But if they're not good to go, don't do it.
I'm really not under the impression that Ed Oliver will go on Sunday. I don't even really think that we would be missing much if he doesn't. I'd say, as far as their offensive line, one of their biggest issues, I would say, is that interior in pass pro. And the way that Deion Walker has been playing, and even Daquan Jones has been looking pretty good. He was public enemy number 1 for a while. I would be fine if he ended up riding the bench. I think one thing that's weird to me is Dorian Strong finds his way onto the report with a neck injury. I know that he was rotating quite a bit with Tre'Davious White last week. It looks like a Tre'Davious White legacy game on Sunday, I suppose. Kev, any thoughts and comments on the injury report?
Yeah, something could happen where it popped up later for Dorian Strong after practice, or got hurt in practice is always the common thing that could happen there in that case. Same with Sanders a little bit, but we'll see how they'll play it out. But Dorian Williams, I think, was going to get replaced anyways. We talked about it in this show, and I talk about it all the time. He's a coverage liability. I don't want to play him in this game specifically. He's not going to bring enough against the run where he's better in this game. I wouldn't have wanted him on the field much at all in this game anyway. So we'll see what that ends up being. Will the Bills stash him on the IR to clear a roster spot for somebody? It's becoming likely they could go that route because they're going to need some roster spots very shortly here for this. And I think Matt Milano is the biggest key to me. He looks good. He looks like he's ready to go. I saw him tackling dummies. By all accounts, I think he should play. And that's a big upgrade in this game, specifically against a team with good tight ends. So I want to see him go out there and play in this game. And Hawes looked fine. Spencer Brown, I think he's with the starting unit in practice, which always tells me you're going to play. So I think the Bills will have their full complement of their offensive side of the ball, which is pretty key. But yeah, you have the depth chart up right now. Milton Williams is possibly off of it. We'll see about Chase on. Not going to be helpful for their roster in this specific game. Like, look at their DBs. I mean, PFF does not like them at all. No. I would agree. They've not played well, even Gonzo in his first game back. So honestly, I mean, Jones is a better special teamer than he is defensive player. He's a great special teamer, but that doesn't mean you're good at defense. Overall, there's some opportunities to be had, and I'm a huge Barmore guy. I think he's really good. And Landry coming over has been pretty decent too. But other than that, there's just not a lot there. The Bills will be able to take advantage of those linebackers, those outside edges, depending on who plays. If Milton Williams is gone, there's some wins there for Torrance and Edwards. Ultimately, Bills offense needs to score to make sure that there's no craziness on the Patriots side, but they need to control the ball, and it's something they're not known to do, especially with their rush EPA. So these teams have tried to control the game with their rush games. It's backfired on them. So maybe the Patriots are just like, I'm just going to try to chuck it everywhere, because trying to run the ball, even though I get some decent numbers, these teams aren't coming away winning because they're so bad in the fourth quarter. That's one place to watch this game. The one thing I wanted to point out here is the Bills are plus 28 in the second half of football games. The Patriots are like +1. So
yeah,
even with a hot start, the Bills
that's
are really number one team in the NFL in the fourth quarter. It's because you start to call different plays and you know what you need at the end of the game. The Bills are just different. They need to. It's a tough challenge to go up against a team that you can be up 10, you can be up 7, you can be tied with. The Bills are as of right now and historically have been really good in the fourth quarter. So there's challenges all the way around. You need more than one Josh Allen turnover to feel like you're in this thing.
So the one thing that at least appears to be an advantage toward the Patriots is special teams play.
Sure.
So Marcus Jones was the special teamer of the week. Based off of my conversations with Colby, he's very high on the unit. Do you see them having the exact same success as they did last week, Kev? Is that an X factor for the Pats?
Sure. Yeah, that's one place. I brought up the turnovers. You need more than one. One turnover doesn't do anything in a game for the Bills. 2 and 3 starts to change the game. So they're going to need that, or they're going to need heavily difference on special teams, which the Patriots could do. The Bills need to counter by not allowing it to happen. I am pretty excited about Wisnowski, a guy that's punted in the Super Bowl, who puts hang time on it, who has a harder to catch ball. I'm excited for those kind of changes in this game. And then also, kicking off, like maybe it's time to not threaten it and limit the opportunities of returns in this specific game, because that is advantage New England. So they could always change the game like that, but all you're doing is keeping your defense. Here's the problem with teams against the Bills and maybe higher end offenses, even like a Mahomes, if you want to consider it. Here's or the Lions. Here's the problem. Special teams is great in games where you're even with the team. The problem with it is you're keeping your defense on the field an extra amount of time. It has a residual effect. So let's say the Bills score, they kick off, even return it for a touchdown. I'm saying worst case scenarios here. Your defense is back on the field again, back to back, needing to make a play against. It just starts to add up. Back to my fourth quarter equation. You need special teams to make a difference, like blocking field goals. That's a huge one. Blocking punts. Those are big things. Not returns are great, but only if you're putting Josh Allen back on the field, and ultimately that has a bad effect for you later on in the game in the fourth quarter. So outside of an end of a game punt, kick return touchdown or something, when you're already up, maybe the Bills come back and cut it a lead or something in this scenario. That's super helpful. But there is pick your poison. But special teams could make a difference. Bigger than all of that is coverage units. Pin the Bills back. That's what problems they ran into against the Saints in the second quarter. And then in return, the Saints got 4 possessions inside of the 50. The Bills only held them to 3 points. So as bad as this defense is, changed the game right there that a lot of us don't realize in the field position game where the offense wasn't moving. That was the worst the offense had looked this season in the second quarter of this game.
Yeah.
They weren't able to do anything. They punted the most that they ever punted. That's the kind of stuff that would win New England a game, not necessarily the splashy one return for a touchdown.
Yeah. Stepping up when you need the defense most. Roy brings up something interesting, and I would tend to agree with him. Can we not use Shakir as the punt returner, please? Me personally, I get it. It's football and injuries happen. But in an ideal world, I would prefer our impact players on either sides of the football are not going to be doing a lot of work in the return game. We saw Codrington as a healthy scratch on Sunday. I wonder if that will be the same on Sunday evening, or maybe he was rehabbing that injury that he may have had. But what's y'all's comfortability level of Shakir continuing with the punt return game? Jake?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of seeing Shakir out there returning punts. As much as we know he's an impact player, like you just mentioned, injuries happen in the game of football. The best ability is availability, and you want Khalil Shakir out there on the field producing for your offense, because that's what he does. He catches almost everything that goes his way. So you want him out there for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Find someone who is going to succeed at their job. It's Patriots week. Let's go back to the old mantra of the New England Patriots. Do your job. Khalil Shakir does his job offensively. Find someone that's going to do their job as a returner. And don't make it Khalil Shakir, because it's not worth risking someone who performs on that level offensively in the return game.
So what are your thoughts on that, Kev? Is he fine with Khalil taking those reps, or would you rather someone else?
I don't think he's overburdened with reps, though. It's not like
Yeah.
the Bills use him in a traditional receiver 1, receiver 2 situation. It's game flow. It's certain situations. He is slippy and sneaky. Can trust him. You can put the ball in plus territory. The problem with Codrington in the Dolphins game was he wasn't great. And he wasn't, in my opinion, and got benched for it. Nothing major catastrophic, but did left some plays on the field. And that's too many in a game, and that was already closer against the Dolphins. And here's the final say. You need roster spots on game day, and you can't just dedicate it to Codrington. So somebody's got to do it. The Bills right now, just like they did with Micah Hyde at this stage of this roster development, trust him to do it at this moment. Maybe Ty Johnson's back there, but you're still going to probably roll Ty Johnson or Elijah Moore or Curtis Samuel on kick return. And then they want their best hands back there to get Josh Allen the ball back with as much plus territory as you can without needing to have I just talked about it, a flashy splash play. You'd rather be at the 30, 35, 40 with your top offense coming on with no risk. And I think that's the decision, not my decision. That's the decision the Bills and Tabor has made with his special teams unit. I'm fine with it because it gives you a game day jersey that the Bills now have needed and have helped out elsewhere. And they're going to definitely need in a week or two. So they're already testing the waters. And lastly, guys, Codrington's probably cut. There's just too many people coming back on this Bills roster to roster everybody here. And they have to figure out, can Khalil Shakir do what he needs to do? And I think they're pretty happy with the return right now. We'll see. But they need the roster spot, and it's probably got to come with Codrington at this stage.
So I feel like we've had a historical amount of turnover on special teams within a month period. It is crazy how many kickers we've been through, how many punters we have been through, and how many changes we have been making with various responsibilities. It's tough to really say whether or not that this unit has improved, because we have not seen any one set teams actually establish chemistry at some point. I'm glad that Kevin appears to be very high on our punter. That's ideal, but hopefully
Super Bowl punter. He got hurt last year. And wasn't good. But this is a punter. No one needs to make a huge drastic change there, but the Bills can because they're looking for one. So honestly, he is a guy that, in my opinion, has really good film prior to a year or two ago. Isn't super old. It is definitely a guy that has speed, really does. I think like a 4.6 or something. Can do a little bit of every Aussie punter, puts a weird spin on it.
Yeah.
Can punt in big moments. It's what you need if you're a Bills roster. You don't need the youngest guy who has great development potential. You need a guy that can do it at this level. I think he matches the bill here. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong.
Damn, man. Poor Johnston, right? He came back from an injury too, and then he just took back-to-back, roughing the punter calls. And
do you know his best punt was that punt too that he got hurt on? That was his best punt of the day.
Dude, look at that, man. Look at that. Wisnowski, the Australian punter. Man, I'm excited to see what he's all about. Jake, talk to me, man. Listen, we've heard about this defense. Who are some of the X factors for you on Sunday? Who are players on the Buffalo Bills offensive side of the football, and besides Josh Allen, obviously, that you see having a good game, a quality matchup that excites you?
So as I mentioned at the top of the show, I already think that Josh Allen's going to be distributing the ball a lot in this game. And I think that begins with underneath stuff. So I'm looking at Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir in the pass game. I think that these guys are high percentage targets that Josh Allen loves to find. And I think he's going to go their way early and often in this game. They're going to try to run the ball as well. But I think that this presents the best matchup for them. Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, some of that underneath stuff.
Man, you know what? I am also very high on a Kincaid game and Shakir, particularly right in the middle of the field. Like I said, Spillane certainly struggling in coverage so far. PFF 39.7. I think the Patriots had a linebacker that was hurt since training camp that I believe began practicing today. I don't think that there's a good chance he's going to play. But if that's not the case, then Christian Ellis is going to be the guy. He has a 29.4 coverage grade. I think that this little midway in the middle of the field is going to be Josh Allen's feasting ground. I want to say Josh Palmer. But the more and more I watch him play, the more and more I see him attempt to be implemented into this offense, I just see another Curtis Samuel 2.0. And so a guy that everyone was super high on with his advanced metrics, they're like, oh, he was a wide receiver 3, but listen, he could be that guy. I don't know why we can't get Palmer going in this offense already. I don't know. Kev, thoughts, some X factors, and I would also love to hear your thoughts on Palmer and why he's had such a slow start so far.
Oh, I think the Bills are bargain bin hunting. It doesn't seem like it with the contract, but sometimes that's the number you have to pay for a 2 or a 3. More importantly, these guys are 3s and 4s. If you look at Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Josh Palmer, in my opinion, and they're trying to hit one of those free agents out of the park. I always said this prior to the signing: if he runs good routes and he has good separation, I'm an analytics guy. Sounds good, right? Why doesn't he get the ball? Like, what's the issue? Like, what he has Herbert. You can't give me the Elijah Moore excuse of him playing with bad quarterbacks. I want to know what the issue is. Like, look at what this Quentin Johnston and this Chargers passing offense has been able to do. And Palmer's been okay. He's been decent or okay. It just must be something where some reason, like, he just doesn't present enough challenge to get the ball. I mean, every situation's a little bit different, but it's definitely a guy that I thought was paid too much for what he did. Curtis Samuel at least had a bunch of splash in his past with this offensive coordinator. Elijah Moore wasn't that expensive and was just kind of a flyer, more or less. And I don't think he's impressed, in my opinion. I think here's my hot take. One of them's gone when these players come back. So is it Shavers? Is it Moore? Is it Samuel? One of them's out the door. One of them's out the door in 2 weeks. So I don't think they continue to roster them all, but I could be wrong. They could, based on if there's injuries. But I do think that, just like Codrington, that's another position to watch out for, because they're not going to cut their rookies, defensive linemen. So there's really a lot of people left to cut when you need to probably clear up 4 roster spots here, guys. So Codrington, Ingram, one of the receivers, and probably like Solomon or I don't know. So there's some challenges here. But Dan, to your question about Palmer, I need to see him do it. I'm not sure where the pump up was. I get it with Samuel a little bit. I get it with Moore a little bit, but Palmer was always confusing he's just a guy that's going to get 500 yards, and that's fine, I guess. But I don't know what he does more than that. Now he's played with a couple of good quarterbacks, 138 yards through the quarter of the season, right on pace for his 500 yards. So ultimately, I think that is who he is. 584 yards and a touchdown's what he did last year. Sounds about right. So, and maybe that's all the Bills are looking for. But when Shavers is in there in key moments against Miami, you have Moore in there even in key moments against Miami. You have Samuel in there a little bit last week. It's just, he's just a role player that's getting overpaid. But that's the cost of trying to hit a receiver out of the park. It's not ungodly amounts of money. I just don't overly love Palmer, and I didn't in LA, regardless of the Bills. I just think he's a 500 or 600 yard receiver. Fill it with a freaking rookie. But I think this is the way that the Bills were looking to go, because he does have some traits, and the season's not over yet. I do think one of the 3 will pop, and that's how I'll leave this. I think one of the 3 will pop. One of the 3 will be cut. The other one will just do what he's doing and joking around.
Mm-hmm. So, well, thankfully, I think we can all agree that Dalton Kincaid has certainly improved from last year. That's ideal. Same thing with James Cook. He picked up exactly where he ended up leaving off. And with Elijah Moore, especially last week, he was just a glorified motion distraction, at least from what I saw out on the field. But super curious to see which one of those guys ends up leaving, right? Because that day is coming. Let's talk about the defense for the Buffalo Bills. Let's talk about matchups that really stand out to us right here. For me, I actually really like our interior versus their interior offensive line. I think that if you really want to get under Drake May's skin, I think you have to be able to establish that interior pressure. I know Will Campbell has been silencing a lot of doubters, right? Like that whole narrative of him having T-Rex arms pre-draft. He's been looking pretty good for the most part. I still want to see him prove it, though, against a player like Joey Bosa or Gregory Rousseau. I think Bosa has been having a wonderful season thus far. I think that that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch. But as far as lopsided, I think interior defensive line versus interior offensive line is ideal. Suppose we'll see. Some Taron Johnson against Stephon Diggs. I wonder if that's going to be something that Drake May attempts to force to Stephon Diggs, especially given the fact that he's coming back to Buffalo. But very, very excited about this. Jake, some defensive matchups that you like advantageous to the Buffalo Bills. What do you got?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Bills linebacking core against tight end Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry, he's been producing here. Honestly, I have him on one of my fantasy teams. He's been cooking up pretty early this season. George Kittle got injured, and I had to make a stream. I go for Hunter Henry, and this guy's been going off. Let's look at the stats here. Week 1, he had 8 targets. Week 3, 11. Last week, just 2 targets, but he still had a touchdown. So 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He has been a fixture of that New England Patriots offense, and I'm expecting him to be targeted a lot in this game by Drake May. He's a reliable option for Drake May, and going up against the linebacking core, which we'll see if Matt Milano's out there, but I would not be surprised to see, much like I said, expect Josh Allen to target the middle of the field, a lot of underneath stuff in this game. Don't be surprised to see the Patriots try to do the same thing offensively. Although, I think that goes towards them trying to control the clock as well. Everyone's talking about the running backs. Everyone's talking about Diggs. But I think Hunter Henry has been really overlooked here early on this season.
And so what matchups excite you, Kev? So the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so I have the New England Patriots at a 56% pass block win rate, which is good for 24th in the NFL through 4 weeks. For reference, the Bills are 3rd. In pass block win rate. They're 1st in run block win rate. I think there's matchups all over this interior defensive line that they should win on. I don't like their interior O-line very much. I think this is key for, PFF has Sanders starting from the looks of it, Jones, and so I don't see Walker on here. Is that Oliver coming back? We'll see. I guess people like Thigh don't think so. I think it's right in the middle. I do think Milano, so you won't need to see Williams on the screen here any longer. Thank God. Which is a much and really look at the edges. PFF take Williams out of the equation and you put in Milano and even put in that Oliver there where Sanders is, and PFF really kind of likes the Bills defense. So I think you'll start to see the fruits of those labors when we're not focusing on, the one Keandre Miller run or whatever Spencer Rattler breaking contain on Williams. So I think that there's definitely some places to win. And that's with someone like Benford having a mediocre season to start the quarter. So yeah. I think that changes. I think Taron Johnson's always a little bit underrated. And what will we do with Trey White? I'm not overly worried about the matchups between it's probably going to be Johnson and Diggs if Diggs is in the slot. That's interesting, but I do think someone like Benford should win his matchup against Booty or Hollins, depending on where they're going to bounce around those receivers. And Milano being back to the point of Jake with Henry is huge. It's a massive mismatch against Dorian Williams. It's not anymore, in my opinion, if the middle of the field is there. But that's also why you may go into a zone coverage and why you may drop some of these linebackers because the middle of the field is then taken away. So kind of the reverse of what people are thinking. Yes, the short pass is there, but the Bills, unfortunately, will give you a short pass. They will. So they'll let you take it. But they will want to take away those deep middles, the deep third. They'll want to take away intermediate. So you better go in between the 2nd and 3rd level, which is about 20 yards down the field, or you better take something short because the Bills defense is going to take away the rest. And that's just the fundamental beliefs of how the Bills play defense. And if the pass rush can get there, it's over. If it can't, then fine. But right now I do see some plus matchups, and Greg Rousseau is playing better than people think. So I want to see the sack numbers. I really do. And even Sanders, I think, is top of rookie pressure rates. I think he has 7 pressures. So he's doing some things well, maybe being a little bit taken advantage of in the running game, which we'll probably see his score there. But ultimately he's playing really good against a pass. I think I just saw a stat that he's one of the best rookie pass pressure generators in the league. So you wouldn't, it doesn't feel like it. But he's up there on the list right now. He's got 9.1%, second of rookies defensive linemen.
So you know what's shocking as well? Like when you talk to most people about the Buffalo Bills defense, normally when I suggest, all right, what would you add to this team? Normally somebody would be adding, CB2 play needs to get better, safety play needs to get better. I found this out earlier, and this could be very well skewed, but the Buffalo Bills are number 1 in the NFL for opposing yards per pass at 5.5 yards and only allowing 125.8 on average, first in the NFL. So in those two metrics, we are the best secondary in the NFL as far as against the pass. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here because I do know that we've played a couple of anomalies as into why, but further thoughts on this? Is this skewed to you, Kev? Or is this really aligned of that we have a slept-on secondary all along?
They play the style of football. They don't think you're going to beat them, especially not. We're talking. This is still October. We're not talking about January against Mahomes, so we got to take that out of the equation. When everyone whataboutism about, well, they lose to the Chiefs in January. Okay. This isn't the Chiefs in January. This is the Saints. This is the Jets, and now it's the Patriots in September and October. Okay, so this isn't Mahomes in January. So let's put that aside for a second and talk about the game we're talking about. This is how the Bills play. They don't think you're going to beat them running the ball for 4 to 5 yards. They just don't think it. They just don't think you have enough to beat Josh Allen. And the fourth quarter has proven it in all of these games, except the Jets, which didn't matter. Other than that, they just don't think you have enough. Maybe you will. Maybe one team will get them. Of course, I don't know that they're going to go 17-0. It doesn't sound realistic to me. Somebody's going to get them. Maybe they go 15-2. Maybe they go 14-3. But by and large, Joe Brady and his offense, 85% win probability since he's taken over. So ultimately, this is how they play. They don't really care if you run the ball in certain situations. They will they will tighten up in the secondary when they need to, when down in the red zone. They will tighten up and make plays, just like with Cole Bishop. They got him to run a Super Bowl style play and throw a pick because they were overthinking it against the Bills. So ultimately, this is how they play. We're really hyper-focused on, well, the Chiefs are going to win in January. There's nothing right now that points to anything like that has anything to do with how the Bills played against the Saints. But their defense of coverage is great. It's tops of the league. And I don't care who they played. They played Lamar Jackson. So I didn't expect to hear at this stage of the year, especially against Miami, who is a decent offense. We can say whatever we want about them. Their defense stinks, but they're a good offense. Yeah. They are a good established offense with, at the time, 2 really good receivers until last week when Hill went down. So ultimately, this is legitimate. The Bills play this style. They make you get the ball out like Tua in 1 to 2 seconds. The pressure rates are good. They're not getting sacks because of that reason. I'm not worried when Keandre Miller runs the ball for 6 yards. It just doesn't matter to me because of how good the Bills are in the fourth quarter. It doesn't matter to me. So I think those numbers are legit. We can't sit here and say something like, it matters when the other team runs the ball, but okay, the Bills take away the pass. So ultimately, none of the running has equaled a win or even that close to it, other than the first week when you had this healthy all-world team in the Ravens, who the Bills set into a tailspin by how well they played in the fourth quarter. And even run defense was really good when it needed to be. It really was. They got him to punt and they turned the ball over. That's how they play. So ultimately, Dan, I do buy in. The run defense isn't great. It's below average. You need to be able to take advantage of that. And you need a quarterback that can take advantage of that in the fourth quarter. No one's been able to do it, including Lamar. So right now, we'll see what May's able to do. I think he's a good player. So maybe they're the team that gets him at home. Bills have won 14 straight.
So one thing that's kind of been frustrating me for the past couple of days is now, of course, really anytime the Buffalo Bills succeed, there's something. There's this annoying ass narrative being like, oh, the Bills' schedule. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're frauds. They played this team close, and their schedule is an absolute cakewalk. It's like we're conspiring with the league, right? And
schedules are made 10 years ahead of time, Dan. 10 years ahead of time.
Pick and choose our opponents. I would like to remind everybody that we are playing a first place schedule. All right. It's not our fault. All right. That some teams completely, just fall off of the face of a cliff and do not have any sense of consistency in their franchise career. But what would you have to say to people, Jake, when people say that the Buffalo Bills shouldn't be all that impressive because look at their schedule.
Well, I'd say just look at the history of what the Buffalo Bills have been doing over the past 7 years with Josh Allen as their quarterback here. Like Josh Allen is the reigning MVP. The Buffalo Bills were just in the AFC Championship game, a few plays away from winning that game at Arrowhead Stadium. So this game was a few plays away from the Super Bowl. They've been here before, and they're a force. They're a force to be reckoned with. 6 going on, hopefully. Okay, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit. 5 consecutive AFC East division titles, going for a 6th this season.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills, they can't control their schedule. All they can control is their destiny. And destiny's calling them this season. They just got to handle business.
And so I love the reference there. It just drives me nuts because people try to act like we haven't proven that we could beat quality teams in the league. This is not the Miami Dolphins. Like last year, we beat 2 15-win teams in a row. Like, by the way, we have beaten every single team in the NFL since the Sean McDermott and Josh Allen era, with the exception of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm hoping it happens this year. It just grows continuously and continuously more frustrating when people continue to bring this up, acting like we're not capable of competing against the elite of the elite. Guys, I hate to tell you, but there's not many good teams in the AFC this year.
That's the point.
We can't control that. All right, Kev.
Who is a good team then? Like my counter argument to that is, you want the Bills to play the Ravens? They did, but do you want then now they suck? I guess. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Do you want the Bills to play the Chiefs every single week, like every 17 game? Like, I don't understand. Like they have to play the AFC. Like they have to do it. It's not their fault that Joe Burrow's never healthy, that the Ravens choke, and that they can't play the Chiefs every week. What do you want them to do? They go and beat the Broncos. That's not good enough. They crush the Broncos. Not good enough. They beat their own division. Not good enough. Like they beat the Steelers. Well, the Steelers are mid. Well, what do you want them to do? Like ultimately, like who are they supposed to play? That's not the Lions every single. They beat them too, but that's not the Lions every single game. Or I guess pick your hot team right now, the Packers, who went and lost, and then tied, not knowing the rules or something. That was a bizarre game. So who do you want them to play? Like ultimately, like I'm not sure like what the deal is with the schedule, but they win it. They survive in advance. It's a week-to-week league. It's not a month-to-month league. It's a week-to-week league. You need to win the team that's in front of you. The schedule talk's a joke. The Bills will beat anybody. They have lost games, of course, but they will beat anybody at any time, at any moment, and especially at home. Like teams give the Bills the best. We talked about it since the preseason when the Bears were running actual regular season plays.
Yeah, folks, we will do our best to lobby the next bargaining agreement where the Buffalo Bills have to play the Kansas City Chiefs 5 times, the Eagles 5 times, and then also the Lions 6 times each and every single year. All right, so you guys can
they play those teams every year too.
We do. I know, it's crazy. Oh my God! Speaking of which, we have our first caller, Andy. What's on your mind, man? Talk to me.
What's going on?
Hey, man, living the dream.
I think it's ridiculous that people keep talking about you ain't played nobody. Like we don't beat every team. Like we've averaged 10 wins a season since Josh's 2nd year.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter who we play. We're gonna win 10 plus games.
Mm-hmm.
We could play the Lions twice a year, the Chiefs twice a year. We're still gonna end up with fucking 10 wins. I don't know.
That's what I'm talking
totally
about,
delusional over there on the round table.
It's brain rot, man. It's terrible, man. What are you thinking about this game on Sunday? What's your final score prediction and hot take?
I see it being close. We're going to score at least 30. So I got it like 31-24.
31-24. All right. We continue.
As long as we, people need to lay off our goddamn punter. We don't need open tryouts at the goddamn Ralph here in a couple weeks because another one goes down.
Yeah. Dude, man. Guys, please lay off our punter, NFL. For the love of God, Andy, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Guys, say, for example, that you're ever interested in calling into the show, certainly consider signing up for Patreon. Links in description once this live show is all said and over. But the Bills are donning their Nike Rivalries jersey I'm super excited to be rocking that on Sunday during my live play-by-play reaction. But once the game is over and the clock hits 0, what's that final score going to be? And give me your hot take of the game. Kevin, starting off with you.
I mean, I'm going to go with the hot take of the game. The Bills are going to stop the run. Is that hot of a take? I guess because everyone says their defense sucks. So I'm going to have to say it. It's a hot take because they're the worst.
Yeah, it is a hot
anything.
take. Yeah.
They're going to stop the run, and they're going to make May throw the ball over the yard, and they're going to be in coverage, and they're going to play it pretty effectively. So ultimately, I'm going to make a play that that the Patriots defense will come prepared and trying their best to make this a game. And it's actually the Bills defense. They may get a critical turnover, sack, forced fumble that will continue to change the game. So my hot take is that the Bills record 3 sacks in this game, affecting in big situations, and ultimately stop the run. That's my biggest hot take. Is I think the Bills will really be helpful by just even the difference between Matt Milano and Dorian Williams. I'm sorry, is enough in my opinion to alter a little bit of what their game plan will be. So that's my personal prediction. I think the Bills win. They'll get got at one of these times. It's just going to happen. But I think this is big enough to where they can take a commanding 3-game lead. I'm not going to duel out the tiebreaker yet. I've seen some people saying, well, this is a 3.5 to 0.5 different game because the tiebreaker is not determined until December. These teams play each other twice with divisions and stuff included. So the Bills will take a commanding 3-game lead, and one will give them enough with their brand new cold front jerseys in front of the whiteout crowd. Ultimately, I think that it's enough to get it done, but I got the Bills in this one. 31. I'm going to stay with it until they stop scoring 31. 31 to 21.
31 to 21. I like it. Roy has come in and said that he's picking the Pats 29 to 27 because when he picks against the Bills, they win. Let the trend continue. Don't fix what's not broken, my friend. Don't fix what's not broken. Jake, thoughts on the game, final score prediction, hot take. What do you got?
Honestly, my score prediction, Andy hit the nail on the head right there. I was thinking right around 31-24 as well. I think that the Bills, this seems like the close right now. It seems like this Patriots team is probably the best opportunity of any team that's gone up against the Bills at holding them under 30 points. But I still think the Bills get to those 30 points. I think the Patriots, they're going to put up some points, 20 to 24 points. I'll give them 24, 3 touchdowns, a field goal, 31-24 final score. Hot take. You know what? Stephon Diggs, he's coming back to Buffalo. They're going to try to get him the ball in this game. I don't think it's going to matter very much. I think Stephon Diggs goes under his receiving yards total in this game. Let's give him a full stat line. 4 receptions on 6 targets for 37 yards. That's Stephon Diggs.
Hold him under 50? Okay, that's insane.
That's
all right.
The stat line in this game.
Don't start him in fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. Don't start him in fantasy. We'll tell you that much.
Don't do it.
For me, all we've been hearing is that, oh my God, this Pats run defense, right? Very good. All right. Maybe we should go on ahead and just exclusively focus on the pass. I feel like we've heard that a million times, and Joe Brady just says, all right, prove it. And he makes the run game a large part of the game plan. My hot take is that James Cook, again, cracks over 100 yards in the ground. Give him 2 touchdowns once again. I still think he gets bell cow numbers. Not because I think that that's who they believe that he is, but I do think it's going to be one of those annoying things where Buffalo doesn't really pull away until the 4th quarter. And so I have it a bit closer. I'm going 31-27. 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. But again, this Buffalo Bills team just knows how to score 30 points. It's very difficult for me to bet against that, right at that point. And then, of course, we'll end up waking up on Monday morning hearing about how close we played the Patriots and we're 5-0 frauds and we don't deserve to be where we are, hanging up.
After talking them up all week and saying that they could win and how great they are.
Yeah. Listen, man, prep yourself for all of it. But right before I let you guys go, I'm just curious. So especially about this topic surrounding the AFC, what team is good to you? it's pretty clear that like we're feeling pretty confident about the 1 seed right now, but like who do you genuinely believe is like a good team in the AFC right now, Kevin?
The Chiefs,
Right.
like the 2-2 Chiefs, like until they're not, until literally I need to see it in week 18, not week 4. Week 18, I need to see them in the 6th seed or something. Until that happens, or worse, until that, the Chiefs literally is your biggest competition. That's why I was rooting for the Ravens. They're just going to be maybe not as good as the Bills right now, but that always changes, and that's the problem. So I'm going until that changes for me, and it changes, like I just said, in January, not in September or October right now. In January, I got to go with the Chiefs. I don't buy the Chargers. They choke every year, choke in the first playoff game every year. They just lost to a rookie quarterback. I mean, McDermott doesn't lose to rookie quarterbacks, and here you go, this other contender losing to them in the first game. So I don't buy the Colts. They're not that good to me. That division's terrible too.
Steelers?
I guess the Steelers defense, but it's the same thing. We hear about the Steelers defense until it comes week 18 and TJ Watt's not playing or something, some variation of that. So I guess because they have a guy like Rodgers who can win, but sure, like to me, the Steelers have proven to be a top 3 to 4 AFC team right now. So I'm putting the Chiefs down. I guess the Steelers at the moment, and that's about it. That's about where it ends for me at the moment. It's not there at the time. And I think the Ravens will make a run. They're going to go 1. Here's my prediction on this. The Ravens are going to go 1-5 and then make the playoffs.
Their schedule is backloaded with all of their divisional games. All of their divisional games.
They usually win them.
And they should win them. How it's probably going to work out is it's going to be the Steelers-Ravens 2 seed and 7 seed.
Every time.
And the Ravens are probably just going to like dog walk them in the wild card.
I know. And then play us in the division round again.
And then play us in Buffalo. Hopefully it's like 20 degrees outside. It's icy. Send them home again. I mean,
they beat them last year in the 3-6 game. They're destined to play again, in my opinion. So, and the Colts or the Texans are destined to play the Chargers for sure. That's for sure.
I also wanted to touch on the Chiefs here, because I think that the Kansas City Chiefs right now, like it was a horrible start. I mean, second offensive play of the season, Xavier Worthy gets taken out by Travis Kelce. It was like a bad omen. Everything was going wrong for the Kansas City Chiefs to start the season. Back-to-back losses against the Chargers. You fall to the Philadelphia Eagles as well. But they rebounded strong against the Baltimore Ravens. And we know 15, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. The Kansas City Chiefs, they elevate their play later in the season. They're still not at full health. Yes, they've got Xavier Worthy back. They'll get Rashee Rice back. They've got some guys over there. They have that championship pedigree. So never count out the Kansas City Chiefs until they are out of this game, because right now there's only 2 teams that I see in the top tier in the AFC. The Ravens, they have a chance to elevate themselves back into that top tier, but it's the Bills and it's the Chiefs until further notice.
Yeah, so maybe it's just my pure hatred for Kansas City, but like maybe there's a part of me that's not wanting to crown them, because putting up 30 points on the Ravens defense has been done 3 out of the past 4 times. If the Houston Texans can put up 30 plus points on the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday, then I think that adds to my theory, because that Texans team, that's a pitiful offense, dude. Like that is a pitiful offense. If CJ Stroud can put up 30 on them, then I mean, should we crown Kansas City at this point, right? But I don't know. A lot to unpack. Folks, that's going to have to do it for another edition of the Bills Roundtable Live. Mondays and Thursdays at 4 or 5, whatever we feel, right? Just make sure you have those bell notifications turned on so you never miss an episode. Kevin, what do you have going on for the rest of the week, man? Talk to the audience. Go ahead.
Yeah. Gonna go through some more numbers, go through some more pressure rates. Very excited to look at some of the Bills defensive metrics to see where they're at, what they're able to do on third down. So if you follow me, I'll be dropping some stuff on my X feed of things I'm able to come up with, and looking forward to recap this game to see how it looks on Sunday night.
Kev is a fantastic follow on X, folks. Do me a favor and go show him some love on the platform. Right over here, man. Some really solid stuff This is great about Joey Bosa. We didn't even have an opportunity to talk about this. He's killing it.
Up there with the top 5 defensive players in the league. So,
dude, guys, look, he's not washed after all. Surprise, surprise. Jake, what do you got going on, man? Talk to us.
Man, I'm getting prepared to capture the moments. Stephon Diggs content. It's gonna be intense. The intensity is gonna be there. Walking into a whiteout stadium at Highmark Stadium, I'm looking forward to that because that's something that we haven't seen in Orchard Park before. The energy is going to be huge for an AFC East divisional matchup, Sunday night football. I'll be there doing another one of these live reactions, this time against the New England Patriots. Hopefully it's a blowout victory. I think it's going to be a close battle. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be entertaining. And that crowd, like you see right there behind me, it's going to be all whited out. It's going to be so cool to see it under the lights. Primetime action. I'll be waiting all day for Sunday night. Let's go.
Oh, dude, the references. Guys, go check out Jake's YouTube channel as well. He does a wonderful job over there. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Go Bills. I have a good feeling we'll be 5-0 and celebrating on Monday. We'll see you soon. Peace.